Questions of the panel?
As wonderful people who gave beautiful presentations, thank you. I know in our society, and probably our own immediate community, there's a lot of fear. And fear stifles growth and listening and opportunities. As you both spoke so beautifully about your values for servant leadership, how do you deal with the fear that can be so paralyzing to help institutions grow, to help us grow, to really ascribe deeper to the servant leadership model?
Fear in that respect, I mentioned earlier, in law enforcement, and this is me personally, how I think about it, failure is not an option. So that constant fear of failure, who do I let down if I don't make the right decision, creates a lot of stress when it comes to decision making. And I rely on my experience, I rely on the assistance of others in their opinion, and I rely on team members and just faith to guide me in decision making, not only for myself to help control that fear, but also for my team members as well.
One of the things that I kind of my little personal adage is that, isn't that great philosopher Michael Andretti? You all remember that philosopher? One time watching a car race, and he had just flipped his car end over end and just horribly ended up upside down in a gravel pit. And the interviewer asked him, well, what were you thinking about? And he said, well, sometimes you just have to close your eyes and pray you don't hit anything hard. And, for a blind guy, that kind of rings true. But the reason I mention that is one of the challenges we all face, but the opportunities we all have is, as I talked about before, that creating of space. Whether that's an individual, a group, whether it's through a professional association, our faith community, what have you, of finding that safe space where we can air our fears and cultivate the good we find. Thich Nhat Hanh, a Buddhist leader, talks about cultivating the seeds of positive change and letting those seeds wither of the negative. And to some extent that's simplistic, but at the same time, that cultivating the good seeds does crowd out the bad seeds. And that's the perspective I try and keep in my own practices.
Yeah, really, I have to say the same and kind of build on what Dan was talking about is providing that moment that it's safe to talk about those fears. Being humble yourself, admitting to some of the things that you might be fearful of. We're all people. We're all equals. As we're leading teams, I'm wanting to let my group know that they can come to me, that they can talk to me about whatever they need to talk about. And so again, providing that space and providing that safety zone, so to speak. Because change is scary. Any type of change is scary. And so when people get fearful, you're obviously not going to get the best out of them. So to let them have that opportunity to talk about it and move ahead with them and dealing with that I think makes a big difference in how to deal with that fear.